Now, your ABC 7 First Alert weather forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
Current air temperature 86 degrees, dew point value high at 77, west wind coming in at about 7. We'll see that wind speed start to pick up as we head into Friday and then into Saturday. Really, with a storm this large and this strong, it does not matter whether it's closer to us or a little further away in terms of the fact that our winds and seas are going to pick up, making it unsafe to continue any kind of boating operations. By that, I mean it's the boaters who are going to have to start first with their hurricane preparations. And I would advise you today, tomorrow, at the latest, the day after, to get those boats secured or haul them out and put them in a safe place and make sure they're tied down well and all preparations have ended. Because there may come a need later in the week to start thinking about your homes and perhaps making sure that they're secured. By the way, if you have not looked at your shutters lately and you have not checked your shutter hardware to make sure you know where all those bolts and screws are and that you have a sufficient number, you may want to do that as well over the next 48 hours. Not saying that it will be necessary, but certainly the peninsula of Florida is becoming increasingly at risk. West wind coming in at about 7 right now, a mix of sun and clouds. Got a few fair weather clouds and a few showers out in the Gulf waters right now. Not a whole lot over land. Can expect to see maybe a few developing in inland areas as we progress into the afternoon. The dry air that it was over us kind of being replaced now by a little bit more moisture. But obviously, that's not the big story. The big story, of course, is what's going on in the tropics. By the way, we have a cluster of clouds in the southern part of the Bay of Campeche in Gulf waters that has a 70% chance of developing there. But the chances are very good it would remain in the southern Gulf and really not impact the continental United States. Of course, Irma continues to strengthen and grow and become just a horribly formidable storm. This is going to be really a catastrophic storm for parts of the northern Leeward Islands. This eye is so beautifully formed with another eye wall that has redeveloped and good outflow in all quadrants. And of course, Hurricane Hunter aircraft have spotted 180-mile-an-hour winds. So clearly, it's going to be a rough go. Even areas like Puerto Rico, which will be on the southern and most likely the western and southern sides of this storm, will probably experience some very heavy rainfall, gusty winds, and some high surf and storm surge as well. The plus about this system, I suppose, is that it's moving at 14 miles per hour, which is pretty typical for a hurricane, but still, it could be a slower mover, which would have increased the storm surge. So we're glad to get that forward motion. High pressure to the north, still producing a general flow that's steering our storm toward the west, and it is likely that it will get very close to the island of Cuba by the time we hit Saturday into Sunday. Our weather will start to probably notice the effects of this storm by about Friday evening as our winds begin to pick up. And it's certainly possible, about a 20 to 30% chance, that we'll see tropical storm force winds begin to encroach on the peninsula by the time we get to Saturday. So we're going to want to make sure in our time frames in our mind that we're able to complete all of the preparations that we might have to do by the time we get to certainly early Sunday, most likely on Saturday. So keep that in the back of your mind. The forecast track for this storm continues to cause us to watch the tropics, and we'll continue to see all of the models converging on a solution for the next several days that take it just to the north of Cuba. Again, beyond that, there's still a lot of spread, and there's a couple of things I can tell you. The forecast track will change, and a slight change in the position of the eye wall will have a large impact on our weather. So don't concentrate too much on the exact center line of the forecast track. It's really the force of this storm system will be felt anywhere within this cone and beyond. So we will definitely get some weather from this storm. It just remains to be seen how much, where, and exactly when. Of course, taking it day by day. Forecast calls for a 30% chance of showers today. All bets are off for the weekend forecast. Scott?